Hello world! Welcome back to another home coffee plan brew at home video. I am your girl Riley, friendly neighborhood barista, and Pippa is somewhere else. I think she's on to me now. Whenever she hears hello world, she's like, I gotta get out of here. We are brewing a beautiful cup of coffee today from the Aguilera brothers of West Valley in Costa Rica. Now, these brothers are all about family because they have not 2, not 4, 6, 8, or 10, but 12 brothers, a part of their family and their farm. So they all work together as a family, as a unit of 12 brothers. If I had 12 brothers, I would just constantly feel like I'm just drowning. We are going to be doing a coffee of the Geisha varietal, and if you're unfamiliar with this coffee, Geishas are of superior quality. Now, you may have seen them in cafes either being served or sold in bags, and you're like, why does it cost so much? Well, there are quite a few reasons to this. One being that the plant itself, the coffee plant itself, is unique. It started in Ethiopia, and now many different regions do grow the Geisha plant. It has to do with the processing, the way it's grown, where it's grown, the way it's picked. And when you're done brewing, you're gonna get a cup that is just very sweet. There's sometimes tea-like qualities and just overall very smooth and silky. Basically, when you brew this coffee, you're gonna be drinking liquid gold. Liquid gold. Supposed to be like a perfume commercial. We have a little recipe today, and I say little because it does make a smaller cup. If you're like me, I usually can't finish a big cup of coffee, so this is kind of perfect. And we are also going to be doing a fun little experiment. So I mean, you can get in on this as well, or you don't have to, but I got the inspiration from myself. I am a legend. And this has happened a couple times. I'll be out on the town one night, and as the night is nearing the end, I think to myself, wouldn't it be a great idea if I went to a fast food restaurant, ordered a cup of coffee, put it in my fridge overnight, wake up, I have a cup of coffee waiting for me. Genius, absolute genius, until I go to take a sip and it's just awful. It doesn't get any better, I will tell you that, folks. But I do like that idea of the convenience. And so combining the fact that I can't always finish a big cup of coffee and the convenience, I wanted to take a coffee that is of higher quality and basically leave it overnight in the fridge to then drink it today and then compare it to a fresh cup of coffee that we'll brew together. I wouldn't recommend this as maybe a usual routine, unless it turns out great, then maybe I will recommend it. But obviously we should always be trying to drink as fresh as coffee as we can, but sometimes we cannot. We're heading back to school, we don't got time. I personally don't wake up early enough to make a beautiful pour over coffee. I would like to be that person who wakes up at 4 a.m. and has a beautiful morning routine, watching the news, eating oatmeal and making a coffee, but I roll out of bed 10 minutes prior to departure. We are gonna be brewing with the origami, and we are using the porcelain version. And so it is made of porcelain. ASMR. I love it, it looks beautiful. I feel very fancy making my coffee. Stunning. We got our water boiled already. We have our filter that I have folded along the etched line as per usual. We're gonna pop that in there. And before we add coffee, we always what? We add water to our filter to get rid of the papery taste. Excellent work, everyone. Okay, let that water drain out. Take that water out of the cup, and then we're gonna add our coffee. So for grind size and weight, we have 12 grams of ground coffee, ground at about a medium coarse. Give that coffee a little shake. Make sure it has a nice flat bed. We are going to add 30 grams of hot water in a circular motion to the bed of our coffee, and we're gonna start our timer while we do that. All right, here we go. So looking for 30 grams. And this is going to, there we go. This is gonna act as the bloom. And when we reach the 30-second mark, 30-second mark, we are then going to add, there we go. We're gonna add more water in a circular motion, getting to 150 grams of water. Okay, there we go. And then we are going to pour fast in the middle till 200. Whoops, went a little over. And that is it. So circular motion till 150, and then fast in the middle to 200 grams total. Then we're just gonna let that pass through. Excellent. We will just take out our filter here. Look at that perfect little tiny cup of coffee. So we are not going to drink this right away. We are actually going to let it sit, so then we can do a side-by-side comparison at almost the exact same temperatures. So I'll let that sit for a bit, go do some things, and then I'll come back for you. Okay, I am back, and you're probably wondering why this basket is here. Well, because bribing. I'm bribing her for fame. Now that we have our cat and 2 cups of coffee, we can now go over our little experiment. Obviously, the levels of each of them are a little different because maybe I have been sipping a little bit. It's all for research. Here we have coffee number 1 that was brewed yesterday, sat in the fridge overnight, and then was brought out to sit at room temperature. Coffee number 2 that we brewed together and that has been sitting just out. Let's give them both a try. So coffee number 1. This is pretty phenomenal. Dare I say phenomenal for a day-old coffee? Coffee experts might be cringing at this. But as you can see, I just took like 5 sips because it really is that good. And I honestly prefer my coffee when it's not as hot. And technically you can get a lot more flavor and tasting notes out of it when it has cooled down, so you're not just tasting hot. Okay, number 2. Okay, well, number 2, the one we brewed today, definitely is better. Definitely getting floral notes. It's very silky, like a Geisha is. The perfect amount of acidity. Definitely tea-like with just a hint of stone fruit. Okay. So comparing them side by side, sip for sip, I gotta say that the one we brewed today fresh is our winner for overall taste and mouthfeel. But that is not to say that our overnight friend here is a bad coffee. I just find that the flavor has kind of dissipated a little bit. It's a little bit more muted, and it is a slightly more bitter, I would say. I would say this is the winner, but I also think no one is a loser here today. I think they are both winners in their own right. So if you can't finish your coffee, or you need to brew a coffee for overnight to grab and go in the morning, I approve the move. I do not approve, however, of leaving an iced Americano in your car for 2 weeks and then sipping that. Nice. I'm proud of this experiment. Bye for now. She hates this life of fame. She doesn't approve of Mummy being an influencer.